Hey dreamers, this is Anisha Jennings, a fellow immigrant and an entrepreneur. From being an engineer in India to building my tech business in the US, I've lived the journey you're on. Welcome to Your American Dream podcast, where we turn immigrant challenges into superpowers. Are you feeling out of place, struggling with a job hunt, or simply missing home? I've been there, and I'm here to guide you through it. In each episode, we'll dive into real stories, practical advice, and mindset that will help you write your unique success story. From navigating cultural differences to building a purposeful life, I've got you covered. So if you're ready to turn your immigrant experience into your greatest strength, let's dive in. Your American dream starts now. Welcome to Your American Dream. I'm Anisha Jennings, and today I'm so excited to welcome Melba, founder of Excelencia Latina and director of the Women's Business Center at Mi Casa Resource Center. Born and raised in Las Piedras, Puerto Rico, Melba built her path through education, determination, and entrepreneurship. She holds a bachelor's degree in social work, an MBA, and a master's in organizational leadership and change management, all earned with summa cum laude distinction. After unexpectedly launching a successful tres leches cake business, she gained first-hand experience in what it truly takes to build a business from the ground up. Today, she helps Latina entrepreneurs gain the confidence, visibility, systems, and community they need to lead and thrive. Welcome, Melba. Thank you so much for being here today.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me, Anisha.
My pleasure. So tell us about your journey, where you started, what caused you to come to the US, and to where you are now.
Yeah, I was born in a very small rural town in Puerto Rico. Went to all of our local state university and high schools and whatnot. And then life brought me to California in 2007, right after I graduated college from California. I spent about 6 years there and then moved to Vietnam. And then after living in Vietnam for a little bit over a year, I moved to Colorado, and Colorado has been home ever since 2012. And here I have been working consistently in community engagement and serving underserved communities here in the Denver metro area. Specifically, I have dedicated the better part of almost 20 years now here building community and supporting all the underrepresented communities here in Denver.
Amazing. So tell us more about your journey through your business.
Yeah. So one day I got tired of having bad tres leches cakes at the restaurants, right? Everywhere you go, you want to have that little treat. And I was just disappointed, consistently disappointed. And I said, I can do it better. And I started trying a recipe. It took me almost a year actually refining that recipe, going back and forth and testing different things. And I used to just give samples of those cakes to my sisters, my friends, my colleagues. It's like, hey, what do you think about this? Do I need to tweak anything? And one day, a colleague of one of my sisters said, hey, I want this specific cake for my wedding. Can you make 1,000
Ooh.
cupcakes? So here I am just testing recipes, just thinking, I want to indulge for myself. And this person is like, I want to pay you to have this type of cake in my wedding. I was not thinking about this as a business opportunity, of course, but it was in my face. I said, sure, I can do that. And I started baking a bunch of cupcakes and little cakes in my house, in my apartment. And then from there, other people started asking, it's like, hey, would you make this for a baby shower or a friend's gathering, whatnot? And it just started like completely word of mouth.
Wow.
Until I ended up having to formalize the business because I had that many orders. I was managing a lot more clients and cash and all that stuff. So I actually started a business after I was already selling my cakes and I had a reputation. I had over 3,000 customers at that point. So it was very, very
Wow.
successful. Yeah. A lot of people like the cakes. And I only did one type of product, so the tres leches cakes, but I did different variations, different flavors. So people were constantly trying to explore and see what else was coming with the cake. So that was a really fun accident of how I became an entrepreneur.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
so amazing. Just like, trying to find a solution for something that you're like, oh, I don't like how these taste, and I'm just gonna and you built your business. So what transitioned after that? And do you still have the business? And what do you do now?
Yeah. So after that, I obviously the reputation kept growing and I had a big boom in my business. I have now joined forces with another locally owned, women owned Latina business
Wow.
here, and we operate two cafeterias, two cafes inside the library systems here where we live. So we sell our products, both their products and my tres leches cakes in those cafes inside the libraries. And we do catering services. And then I also have my 9 to 5 job. I am the director of the only women business center in the state of Colorado. So we specialize in providing training, technical assistance, coaching, and support to women, aspiring or existing women entrepreneurs here in the state of Colorado.
Wow. Wow. So when your business started, how did that impact your 9 to 5? Like, how did I'm sure there was time management challenges there and so many changes that you would have had to make. How did you handle that?
Yeah. So I was finishing my second master's degree. I
Oh,
had
wow.
my 9 to 5, and I was building
Wow.
this business that came out of nowhere. So definitely working overnights quite a bit. I had to stick to a very strict schedule because the business demands were so high. I only did pre-orders.
Right.
I didn't have a physical location, so I had my clients pre-order the cakes and the desserts that they wanted. I would go once a week to the commissary kitchen, bake all the orders, and have them ready on Fridays and Saturdays. So
Wow.
a lot of systems, a lot of preparation, and very, very strict adherence to those.
Yes, yes. So when you say like systems and your schedule, basically, how did you come up with like, oh, this is what I need or this is what I don't need? Was it just by experience or did you have any mentors or did you like, how did the whole ecosystem come together?
Yeah, at that time, this was 2019 when this all started. I joined a local networking group that was designed for Latina entrepreneurs here in the Denver area. I also became the director of that group eventually, but I found a lot of community and mentorship available to me from other people that had very similar experiences. So that was a key. I had immediate access to people that had gone through entrepreneurship and they were actively mentoring and coaching other young entrepreneurs. And that was very helpful to have other people with established systems and experience mentoring and coaching. So that helped me quite a bit at the beginning. And again, a lot of baking overnight. There is a hustle that cannot be avoided.
Yes.
In specific times, when you're growing into your entrepreneurship journey, there's always going to be a period of hustle. So there was a lot of that.
Yes, yes. So now looking back, right? What did your entrepreneurship journey, your business journey, what did that teach you that, maybe classroom did not teach you?
Yeah. Surround yourself with the right people.
Yes.
Make sure that you have very clear intentions about what you want to achieve and get through this journey. Sometimes people just want to have a business just for all the cutesy things, and other people want to like literally learn and establish a path for themselves for the rest of their life. So join the right community, have the right people surrounding you, be intentional, have curiosity, be open to learning, and also be open to fail. It is not perfect. There's going to be mistakes. You're in an active, growing, learning process. So you have to expect that there's going to be some failures. But if you have the right intentions, you're going to learn and just keep going, adopt, implement, and keep going.
I love that. I love that you said prepare to fail and be
Yeah.
okay to fail. So tell us a little more about how those failures in your own journey shaped your business and you as a person.
Yeah, one of the things that I always say that I consider was a failure was early on not acknowledging that I was going to need help.
Mm,
I was thinking that I was going to be able to do all of it. Do the
right.
baking, take care of the customers, do all the social media, the accounting, all these other compliance things, and not soliciting help, not accepting help, not
Yes.
even acknowledging that I needed help. at that time. So yeah, be open to request help and and knowledge when you actually are going to need help as early as possible.
Absolutely. So, like you said, community is important, mentorship is important, surrounding yourself with the right people. What would be your advice to people who are just starting new? And, as women, it's very hard to ask for help. We want to do it all. Or, culturally, you have been asked to do it all, or you're like, don't ask help, or that makes you look weak. What would be your advice on how to navigate this situation?
That is especially true for women,
Yeah.
right? And that is especially true for minority women.
Yes.
We are raised and we grow up in this hustle mentality and space. So there are plenty of resources. There's a lot of community that already exists and supports, and people that are already out there wanting and willing to support people like you and I that, had to do the hustle and failures at the beginning. So find where those spaces are. Not all of them are going to be appropriate. Not all of the mentorship, community spaces, networking are going to be your style, what you need. Not
Exactly.
you don't have to do everything, but the ones that do work for you for your goals, stick to those.
Yes.
Stay there, create that community, and stick to those.
Yes, for sure. So tell us a little more about what you're building now that you've built this successful business and you're doing your 9 to 5. You are like, participating in community. Tell us a little more about what you are creating that is giving back to the community.
Yeah. So, in my experience in my 9 to 5, right, in a nonprofit organization, I have seen firsthand the dear look in women when they come to solicit help and request support, right? They're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I know that I have this idea, or I have already been working on this. I just don't know what is next or how to do it. So, I developed a consulting business for Latina professionals
Mm-hmm.
that may or may not have entrepreneurship experience. And I coach them, mentor them, do training, and it's an excellence academy. So, how do you become a CEO? How do you move from that hustle, lost type of space to moving with actual systems and intentions and goals that are going to get you to where you want in your business? And that might look different for everyone, right? That might be like, I just want this type of business. I'm looking for 3 clients. And some people, their plans are like way bigger. So, how do we build those systems as early as possible to get to those goals? So, I have Excellence Academy, and this is all for Latina professionals. And then we have a community of Latina entrepreneurs and professionals here in Denver. We have a cohort that starts in August. And again, just finding that community, creating that community, and working intentionally in those systems that are built for our share experience, our share upbringing.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So sometimes, we know we need help. We know we need to hire someone, but we may not be at that point in the business where we could afford that help or, be able to hire someone. So what would be your advice on how to go about that? And even if we want to invest in a mentor or a program, and we're not there yet, either financially, mentally, physically, because just because you pay for a program or a mentor doesn't mean you have the time and capacity to go through it, right? So, what would be your advice on how to balance this and how to approach this?
Yeah, really, my experience has been you don't need to be an expert in everything when you're starting in your entrepreneurship journey. You just have to know enough so that when you are ready, you can pass that baton. So you might not be ready for marketing support and social media or accounting, but I know that I need to keep my books clean. I know that I need to keep those receipts. I know that I need to keep track of all these transactions. So I work in the capacity that I have right now. I implement those processes and those systems so that when I am ready to actually hire the help and the support, I already have something pre-built. It's not brand new. It's not a mayhem kind of chaos. I
Yeah.
have something at least.
Yes, yes. That is great advice. And tell us about, how you bridge the gap between policy, strategy, and actually implementing it.
Yeah, a lot of women entrepreneur, there's a lot of inherent knowledge, right?
Mhm.
We already know that we want a business. We already know what type of product or service. We have all those things already in our brains. We just need to organize it in a way
Yes.
that makes sense. That's where all those systems come, right? So a lot of it is moving outside of the chaos of
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm doing to hey, you already have all of these things in place. You already have all this knowledge. Let's put it together, identify where those gaps are and just focus on those. So you don't have to learn everything from scratch. You bring a lot of knowledge and experience to the table, whether you acknowledge that or not. So, starting there and then just working on the little gaps so that you feel more confident moving forward. You feel more confident with your strategy and the steps that you're taking in your entrepreneurship journey.
Absolutely. That is so well said. And what would be like, your experience, your advice of like mentoring, coaching? A lot of women struggle with the confidence, right? Like before I started the podcast, I was like, oh, who's going to listen to me? Or, I don't know if I have a story worth sharing, right? You have all those little like, things, beliefs, limiting beliefs that don't let you take that step. What is your advice on how to, navigate that initial hesitation and just go for it?
Do it. Do it scared. Even if you feel like you're failing, that this is not going to succeed, nobody's going to listen to do it. Do it scared, but do it.
Yeah.
Stay committed to it. And the commitment is more to yourself, right? It's not about gaining fame overnight or gaining all of these clients and customers and this and that. It's about, look, I did this. I
Yes.
had this idea. I put all these systems in place for my business, for my journey. I'm gonna share it. Whoever likes it, yes, I'm gonna find community, maybe, but I'm doing it. And I'm doing it because I like it. I care. It brings me joy. It makes me confident and helps me succeed. So just do it. Even if you feel like you're going crazy, nobody's listening, look silly, it does not matter. Do it.
Yes, I truly agree. And that's what I did. I just did it. I just like, recorded my first few episodes and here we are. We're going to be hitting 100 episodes soon. So
Yay.
just do it. Yes. So with regard to, visibility in business, tell us a little bit about, why visibility is essential. Like for you, you already had friends, colleagues, and your business. Like you said, you built a business when you already had your business, right? So you had your community, you built your visibility through your expertise. So tell us a little bit more about visibility and how it helps your business grow.
This is one of the things that I coach my clients on, right? There's a lot of that goes into personal branding, all your interactions, whether or not you're acting in your business entrepreneur CEO capacity, right? A lot of your actions matter. So the spaces that you find, the people that you surround yourself with, the conversations that you're having, all of those are little building blocks that help increase your visibility in your personal capacity and then your business. So join a chamber of commerce or go to the
Yes.
networking groups where the people in your actual physical space are
Yeah.
moving, where those business conversations are happening. And do not go with the intention of, I'm going here, I need to find 3 clients. Go there with the intention of, I want other people to know what I'm doing. And I also want to know what other people are doing around me. So
Exactly.
those connections, you might not have the clients immediately, but you start building a little like roots, right? Tentacles. And those relationships eventually grow. And that's how you get your visibility. Somebody will think about you when they're talking to somebody else
Yes.
about that problem that you're actually solving with your business. So grow as much visibility organically as you
Yes.
can. Yes, there are tools, social media, all of those are all tools,
Yes.
but the organic presence is the heaviest. That's the most important.
For sure. And that's so well said because when we start knowingly or unknowingly, wherever you start in life, like high school, middle school, college, you're basically building your network. But you
Yes.
don't view it as I'm building my network. But once you get into business, you're like, I need
Everybody.
clients. So how do I like, find? And that's how you start building. But I think the approach is more to being like, okay, how can I serve with the skills I have, with the expertise that I have, rather than or how do I land my first client or how do I get my
Yes.
client, right? So tell us a
Yes.
little more about service. Like how like the mindset around service, the mindset around using your skill set to help and benefit your community.
Yeah, that is a lot of being genuine, right?
Yes.
Even if you are in your entrepreneurship, founder, CEO capacity, it's a lot about being genuine in those interactions,
Yes.
and in those spaces. So truly wanting to give back, not expecting 5 clients out of this. And again, when you're getting yourself in those communities, the opportunities for service are going to come to you. I'll give you an example. I joined our local chamber of commerce and we were in a meeting and somebody said, "Hey, we are going to hold a fundraising gala for dog rescue." This was back in April and the event is in July.
Oh,
And they said, "We're looking for sponsors and this and that." I'm like, that is something that we deeply care about with our owners in my business. It's like, hey, that is something that I want to give back. I can give back by sponsoring this event with desserts and this and that, what they're going to need. So we offered to sponsor that event, which increases our visibility with all the people that are going to be there. We're building community. We're supporting something that we really care about. So really finding that genuine space of interactions in that community, I think really, really highlights those opportunities for service.
for sure. And which brings me to my next question is sometimes, because culturally or just there are people who are introverts, right? Like we don't want to talk, not we don't want to talk, we want to talk, we want to be in the rooms, we want to volunteer, we want to network, but we have that fear of like, I'm not sure what I'm gonna say, I'm not sure how to connect, or language can be a barrier for like,
Yes.
immigrants. So what is your advice on navigating these challenges?
Whether you like it or not, you're going to have those interactions when you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You cannot run a business in a silo, right? Even if it's a service business, even if it's computer to computer
Yes.
talking, there is a social element to it. So this is one of the things that I coach my clients on. Like create an identity for your business. That does
Okay.
not mean that your individual identity is exposed, right?
Mm.
You're the representative of that business. You're the person, the face that they see, but give your business a voice, a tone, a way of talking and networking and collaborating, and keep it there. This is my business speaking like that. This is my business that does all of these interactions. There has to be a level of vulnerability, right? You are going to be exposed, but the way I see it is like create a person, a whole identity for the business and remove yourself from that.
Mm.
So people are like, "Oh yeah, that's the business. It doesn't have to do anything with me."
Wow.
It makes it a lot easier for people to, separate and not feel the pressures like I have to do this. My business needs to do that.
Right. Right. I love that perspective.
Yeah.
And it is like, create kind of cloning yourself, but you don't have to be present there. But it takes time to build up your brand, and you as a person are your brand, right?
Yes.
So, with your heritage, with your cultural heritage, tell us how it impacts and influences your leadership style.
So I'm Latina. We're warm, friendly. We want to be around our people. We want to feed our people. We want to make sure that everybody is taken care of. And so that does inform a lot of how I work with my clients and in my work. One of the things that I have learned with being Latina is trying to not do everything for everybody.
Mm.
I want my clients, I want my participants, I want the people to acknowledge what they already have and
Right.
feel empowered to do it on their own. Yes, we are here, we're anchored, supporting in coaching kind of space, but I don't want to do everything for you. It's like raising a little kid. So, yes, we're going to be warm and friendly, and we want to make sure that you're taken care of, that you're comfortable in this whole process. But I also want you to acknowledge yourself. I want people to see biculturalism, bilingualism as an asset. This
Yes.
is I am. I don't need to suppress any of that. I already have all of this in me, and that makes me unique. That gives me an edge. So that acknowledgement, I think, informs a lot of my relationships, coaching and consulting relationships with my clients.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So how can people work with you? And if somebody wants to get into your world, what's the best way?
Yeah, I have a website. We're going to share all the captions for our website. That's the easiest way to get a hold of us. You can find me on my LinkedIn profile, Melba Velasquez, or in my LinkedIn page, Excelencia Latina, Colorado. We are also joining having a cohort that starts in August. And this is very local for Denver women, professional women in Denver, right? So if you're looking to start join a community and be with like-minded people, show up in excellence, really represent who you are, your business, your identity, your personal brand, but with excellence. Go that, step beyond. August is the day. Join us, get on the wait list. We're going to get started at that point. It's 12 weeks, and I'm so looking forward to that.
Beautiful. So what does the American dream mean to you today?
The American dream to me is I thought that I was going to be an employee forever, that I was going to be limited in the opportunities that I had, not just professionally, but personally, right? The American dream for me right now is I'm the owner of 3 businesses.
Wow.
I work with hundreds and hundreds of women on a yearly basis. I support a local nonprofit that is mission aligned with the work that I do. And I am damn proud of the work that we're doing in that nonprofit. So I like everything that I am doing right now. Never, ever, ever thought that I was going to be able to do it coming from my little hometown in Las Piedras. Yeah, there is opportunity. There's ways. Stay committed. There is a version of the American dream out there for you. You just have to take the steps to get there.
Amen. I agree with that. So, last question. What legacy do you hope to leave through your Excelencia, the Excelencia Latina and your Women in Business,
Yeah.
the Women's Business Center?
I would love to see a group of women that are not afraid to take the risk, that are not afraid to do it even when they're scared, and that are actively learning and growing and challenging themselves to pass the baton along to the other people that are coming behind them, right?
Right.
I also have a daughter. This is
Aw.
important for me, right? I want my daughter to have those opportunities and those opportunities be easier for her.
Yes.
So she doesn't have to be in that hustle space. So my legacy, my idea of the legacy of the work that I'm doing is have a whole community of people that are, yes, we can do this. We're going to do it. And we're going to do it in excellence because there's other people walking behind us that need that support and we're committed to it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you again.
Thank you, Anisha.
As we close this inspiring conversation with Melba, one thing becomes clear. Entrepreneurship is not just about building a business, it's about building a legacy. Melba's work reminds us that when women are given the right support, systems, and community, they can create transformational impact for generations to come. And if you're building a business and need support behind the scenes, I'm here to help you. From creating strategic, high converting websites that showcase your expertise, to managing and producing your podcast, to providing team and operational support as your business grows, we help founders create the systems, visibility, and structure they need to scale with confidence. Because your vision deserves support that grows alongside your business. This is Anisha Jennings reminding you that your American dream is not just about personal success, it's about creating opportunities for others to rise with you. Until next time. Thank you for tuning into Your American Dream. I hope this episode left you feeling inspired and ready to take on the world. Remember when I first landed in the US, lost and overwhelmed? Well, look at us now. We're building our dreams together. Your story matters, and I'm so honored to be a part of it. If you enjoyed our chat today, please spread the love. Rate, review, and share. Let's grow this amazing community of dreamers together. Want more? Catch my daily doses of inspiration on my Instagram @JenningsTechCorner. Also check out the show notes for more ways to connect. Remember, your accent is the voice of your ambition. Your background is your superpower. Let's dream big and achieve bigger. Until then, this is Anisha cheering you every step of the way.